Russia's major offensive has begun, but they didn't expect to charge straight into hell. FPV drones, Javelin missiles, mines, Hawaii Mars, and precision artillery turned the battlefield into a slaughter zone. What happens when an armored column walks right into a Ukrainian ambush? Witness every brutal moment through the eyes of a recon drone. Right from the start, a Russian armored Formation 3 tanks and 4 APC moved into a desolate area. They thought they had the upper hand as they halted at an abandoned settlement. But from above, a Ukrainian drone was tracking their every move. The trap was closing in, and none of them knew they were about to be attacked. As the lead tank crept forward, a Javelin missile slammed straight into its hull. A blinding explosion ignited the entire machine in seconds. The drone captured a close everything ended in an instant. Yet the Russian troops kept advancing, unaware that even greater disaster was waiting just ahead. A Russian tank tried to fire back while retreating, but was hit by a direct counterstrike. The violent blast crippled the vehicle. Not far away, another tank that had taken a previous hit suddenly exploded, erupting into a massive fireball. The horrifying scene threw the entire formation into chaos, breaking them apart piece by piece under relentless precision fire. As a Russian APC pulled back toward the forest, it suddenly stopped to deploy troops. Russian infantry immediately launched a counterattack. But Ukraine was ready drones, and artillery were already in motion. A devastating strike ignited the APC before it could escape. Every move had been anticipated. Nothing escaped the eye of the sky. Moments after dropping off troops, the APC was blown apart by a drone strike. Ukrainian forces always prioritize destroying the vehicles first, leaving Russian soldiers no chance to retreat. The machine exploded as if torn apart from within. But this was only the beginning. Russia was sending in over 100 armored vehicles, aiming to break through the lines with a multi-pronged assault. The multi-directional assault began. Ukraine immediately responded with fragmentation rounds, striking a Russian tank. An APC sent out for reconnaissance was destroyed the moment it appeared. Meanwhile, Ukrainian artillery hit another APC, throwing the Russian formation into disarray. One tank veered off course and drove straight into a deadly minefield. Before they could grasp what was happening, the next convoy rolled straight into the minefield. The first blast stopped an APC in its tracks. A tank behind it kept moving forward only to trigger another mine, setting off a chain of explosions. Ukraine didn't stop. HIMARS rained down fire relentlessly. The nightmare was only just beginning to unfold. A group of Russian tanks tried to push toward the front line, led by a mine-clearing vehicle. But one of the APCs in the convoy was hit and got stuck in the middle of the path. A Ukrainian defensive position was nearby. One impatient Russian APC surged forward only to hit a mine and explode. The ones that followed shared the same fate, bursting one by one like deadly fireworks. Right after the crushing blow, Ukraine seized the momentum. Artillery opened fire relentlessly, turning the Russian convoy into a headless serpent. Panic spread rapidly through the ranks, with each vehicle scrambling to turn back. But instead of an escape route, they ran into more mines blast after blast. A chaotic scene of desperation and destruction unfolded. In the midst of the chaos, a few vehicles, though not completely destroyed, were left stranded in the open. Ukraine immediately deployed drones to finish the job. Sharp, decisive explosions rang out as the wrecks erupted into towering flames. This ruthless yet precise strike left Russian forces devastated. Tanks and APCs were nearly wiped out entirely. It didn't stop there. Ukrainian drones kept hunting down every last target. Any remaining vehicle, even if stationary, was hit with sensor-fused bombs. The area had become an armored graveyard. Meanwhile, another Russian convoy, made up of SUVs, trucks, Montana LBs, and APCs moved into the crosshairs. A new wave of destruction was about to begin. Seizing the moment, a Ukrainian drone dove straight at an SUV. The first blast tore it apart. Moments later, an MTLB was bombed from above. Another drone dropped its payload onto an APC, triggering a terrifying explosion as the ammo inside detonated. Fire consumed everything, and the remaining vehicles also packed with munition set off a brutal chain reaction of fire and blasts. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. Amid the sea of fire, another Russian vehicle kept moving forward, unaware it was being closely tracked. A Ukrainian drone tailed it, then struck with precision. The blast jolted the vehicle to a halt. Without missing a beat, a second drone dove straight into a weak spot, completely destroying it. The cold, pinpoint assault shattered any remaining hope. But the nightmare wasn't over. A lone Russian APC strayed from the convoy and entered the kill zone. A drone zoomed in, slamming straight into the front. The powerful blast left it paralyzed. While some targets take multiple strikes, with the amount of ammunition inside, a single well-placed hit is often enough to turn an armored vehicle into a blazing pile of twisted metal. Moments later, another vehicle got stuck in the middle of the minefield. Ukraine seized the opportunity, sending in a drone that struck the hull directly. A second hit followed within seconds, blowing the entire vehicle apart as flames engulfed the wreckage. A close-up shot revealed the APC's ammo compartment detonating from within, tearing through the outer shell like a deadly fireball. Wasting no opportunity, Ukraine continued the relentless pursuit. Stationary Russian vehicles became live target practice. Drones scanned, locked on, and eliminated each one. Some were abandoned in panic or due to lost communication. But whether manned or not, Ukrainian forces made sure no vehicle would leave the area alive. As the battlefield briefly calmed, Ukrainian scouts spotted something far more valuable: a Russian missile storage site. The location was closely monitored. Waiting for the perfect moment, the HIMARS team struck. 2 volleys of rockets were launched. The first hit dead on. The second obliterated the entire ammo depot. The sky lit up with a terrifying, massive explosion.
Start pushing back, taking back lands as they have in the past few weeks.
For other advanced weapons, like tanks and fighter jets from its western.
With smoke still billowing, the impact of the strike was undeniable. The entire ammo depot had become a sea of fire. As drones circled overhead, they spotted a Russian Buk air defense system on the move. Ukrainian forces patiently waited for it to stop, then relayed the coordinates to command. HIMARS opened fire instantly, delivering a crushing blow that tore the modern war machine apart. The Bukanse, the pride of Russia's mid-range air defense, was destroyed instantly. A system once hailed as a Soviet-era technological marvel was now nothing but scorched metal scraps. This strike didn't just eliminate a high-value asset, it delivered another blow to Russia's crumbling military prestige, which continues to erode day by day on the front lines. And then, the decisive moment came. Ukrainian forces waited until all the Russian soldiers had entered the building. The coordinates were immediately sent to the artillery unit. The first shell landed squarely on the structure's centering explosion, so powerful it brought the roof crashing down. Moments later, a barrage of follow-up shells turned the site into a blazing inferno straight out of hell. Those who survived scattered in panic, desperately searching for cover, but there was nowhere safe left. Ukraine launched a ruthless clearing operation, eliminating every shadow, every corner, every movement. The decisiveness, speed, and precision of this sweep made one thing clear: the momentum was entirely in Ukraine's hand. The very next day, on the 8th of April, 2025, a rapid assault unit from Ukraine's 47th Mechanized Brigade identified new Russian positions in Demidka and Popka, in the Belgorod region of eastern Ukraine. Familiar patterns repeated after skirmishes. Russian troops retreated into abandoned houses for cover. But this time, they didn't know Ukrainian drones were already waiting. Hiding in abandoned buildings had become a common survival tactic for Russian troops. But Ukrainian forces knew this playbook all too well. Thermal drones, recon UAVs, and local civilian intel allowed them to pinpoint every hideout quickly. With airspace under control, the only thing left was time, and Ukraine wasn't wasting a second of it. Without hesitation, the Strix unit launched an FPV drone straight into the house, sheltering Russian troops. A pinpoint strike blew the roof apart, collapsing the entire structure into rubble. Drone footage captured the deadly memento-haunting scene, yet undeniable proof of Ukraine's devastating long-range strike capability. Driven to desperation, a Russian soldier sought refuge in a narrow drainage pipe. But his movement didn't escape the drone's watchful eye. The FPV shot in like a missile and detonated inside. The blast was so powerful, it hurled the body out the opposite end, a horrifying end beyond imagination. After that chilling elimination, Ukraine set out to sweep the entire area. Every abandoned house, bridge, underpass, and drainage pipe any place that could hide Russian troops was methodically cleared. The operation was cold, emotionless, and brutally effective. The entire zone was sanitized, leaving not a single enemy soldier behind. After the brutal clearing operations, Ukraine shifted focus to two key villages, Skudne and Novacherevate, in the Donetsk region. These weren't just scenes of fierce clashes, they were strategic hubs between frontline positions. Russia was throwing everything it had to capture them, while Ukraine vowed not to lose even an inch of ground. Skudne, located along the Volnovakha axis, became a critical point in Russia's plan to break through the southern front. Positioned near major supply routes, the village acts like a key to unlocking the entire Donetsk battlefield. Whoever controls Skudne holds the lifeline of logistics and movement across this vital region. Likewise, Novacherevate sits right next to the Moryali River in the Esta strategic waterway dividing offense from defense. Russia aims to cross it and widen their assault to strike at Ukraine's flank. If they capture it, a new attack corridor opens. But if they fail, their entire offensive force risks being buried on the riverbank. That's why Ukraine isn't letting its guard down for a single moment. Whenever there's a sign of Russian troops breaching the lines, special forces intervene immediately. In March 2025, Russia claimed to have taken Skudne, but on the ground, it was a different story. Fighting continued. Ukrainian drones recorded constant advances and retreats, revealing just how unstable the situation really was. Ukraine quickly reinforced its key positions. They knew well that Russia's declarations were mostly propaganda. Kyiv made it clear, real control isn't claimed in words it's earned on the ground. Ukrainian fighters held every corner, every house, proving with their blood that the enemy wouldn't plant a flag here without a brutal fight. Amid the chaos of the battlefield, one factor proved game-changing: FPV kamikaze drones. Every time Russian forces tried to sneak into forests, bunkers, or abandoned buildings, Ukrainian scouts marked the target instantly. The drones, pre-programmed with deadly routes, sped in like silent reapers. They weren't just weapons, they were a creeping terror that struck without warning. These kamikaze drones have become a haunting nightmare on the battlefield. The ominous buzzing overhead signals blood, fire, and ashes about to rain down on Russian troops. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for the most intense and unfiltered war analysis.